The meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council as sole governing authority of the Plaquemines Port Harbor Internal District is called to order at 5:12 p.m. Machines are open for roll call. All 9 commissioners are present. We're withdrawing all executive sessions for the future. Make sure that, well, I'm talking about these 2 items. Don't show back up. Next item.
Thank you. I will start off with the port financials. I will go to the second page, and you can see the changes. We don't have it on the screen yet, but the explanation of the changes in the fund balance is on the bottom. So a change of $122,000. Thank you. Any questions on the financials? Okay. The next item, on the Point LaHatch Ferry Landing, the landing has been open for a couple of weeks now. We are working on a final punch list. We're having discussions between Infinity Engineering and Deep South and port staff and just working through those last items. We hope to have all of those completed within the next 30 days. And as soon as we get information on an inspection that we're working on, we will make sure that we have a report for the pre-board meeting, probably not next week, but the week after. Still on the same track with the permanent landing. We really want to emphasize, the emergency repairs. Were completed with the intention of making sure that we had that ferry landing operational over the next 5 years. And we anticipate, putting the new ferry landing in place within the next 4 years. And after 5 years, we will repurpose the old landing for the security boats. No change on the Pride. She's anticipated to come. The Pride is anticipated to return from the yards in May. You'll see we have an introduction for sending the Bell Chase 2 to the yards in June, and we'll make sure that we coordinate the handoff where the Pride comes back before the Bell Chase 2 goes into the yards. The Port Authorities 1 and 2, we continue to make progress. Ran into a couple of mechanical issues that are being worked through this month, but we anticipate by the end of the month having those 2 vessels back. We had a meeting with DOTD and Pelican Marine today in the port's office about the new ferry. And I'd like to just point out that we do have a letter off to the DOTD secretary requesting that we really take a close look at the design and ensure that that design gives us a little more square footage deck space for more automobiles. So, Walker, the Peters Road Bridge update, we did receive an email this morning engaging us, is the email from DOTD, engaging us on the selection process for the engineering, selecting a engineering firm to finish the design where the port has a $7.4 million raise grant. And we will be responding to that, but it was definitely a good sign that we received that communication today, and we will keep the commission informed on the progress. 11-mile rail extension, lots and lots of things have happened over the last 2 weeks. One, we've had a meeting with multiple landowners from, Venture Global to NOLA Terminals to Kinder Morgan on just right-of-way discussions. And, we have to make some adjustments here and there. But all in all, I think they were very, very good meetings, very productive meetings. We've also had a coordination meeting between APM, the NOGC, the Rio Grande Rail, as well as Infinity Engineering on the overall project, the rail alignment, the rail yard. And we actually even brought Lanier Engineering in as well to be looking at how the container terminal will sit adjacent to the rail. So good conversations there. We're definitely making progress. Port land purchases, obviously, we're starting the rezoning today. I saw that the rezoning applications actually was approved in the parish meeting prior to this. And we continue to communicate with landowners and working on starting to reappraise some of the lands that we're in negotiations with, reappraising a couple of properties that were part of the expropriation. And we just continue to make progress, and our goal is to work on having all of those land purchases complete by the end of this year. The water booster station, we had a meeting last week, award meeting. We signed the contract for Phase 2, and that contractor is anticipated to finish laying down all of the line by the end of this year, and we're not anticipating any problems. And a human resources update, we've hired a IT manager, so this is the first time that the port has ever had a IT manager. And that IT manager will start on the 28th. Yes, sir. The 28th of this month, so we're excited about that. We'll continue to advertise and receiving resumes for the special assistant to the executive director, myself. We have some promising resumes. And then we are advertising for a new chief legal counsel. Before I close, just talking about the rebranding and the renovation, the Phase 1 of the rebranding is complete. I sent everybody an update this morning on the trademark, so we have some things that we're working on the trademark, and we will keep the commission up to speed on the progress that we make. We are in the process of getting ready to start a local and global campaign, and we have ongoing website updates, and I understand that there might have been a glitch or two on the website earlier this week, and I can assure you that Ms. Vignair, Ms. Bell is working very closely with the Palmer Group, and they are working through the issues, but they are, normal issues that you would expect when launching a new website. But I do encourage everyone, if you look at the website, and I'd encourage you to look at it, but if you find something in there that you think we need to address, definitely, give us a call and let us know, and we will get on it. And then just on the renovation side, we are getting close to actually advertising an RFP for the new roof. Our goal is to get that done, right at the front end of hurricane season, and then the ventilation replacement as well as the generator bypass switch. We're working those items, but if they roll a little more into hurricane season, we can actually live with that, but we are making it a priority to get the roof complete. And with that concludes my executive director report. I am open to any questions or comments.
Thank you, Mr. Tilson. Any comments from the public? Mr. Henry.
Arthur Henry Bell Chase. I want to stand up here and say, thank the people. I always say, for the people, by the people. Thank the people. The people saved this port. This port belongs to the people. I said the first year I did this, say it every day. Belongs to the people. It always stay for the people. If you don't want to deal with it, the people have spoken. But I read the Martin and Associates report. Oh, there's some bad parts about the Plaquemine Port Harbor Terminal District. But I still think we can do a container. I still think we can do it. I got every faith in you. Look for some good private investors. They'll come around. But the port belongs to the people, and it's a gold mine for the people of Plaquemine. We have the river here. It belongs to the people, always. And Pat B, the business people, let's work with the port to make this a port for everyone. Everyone. Thank you.
Mr. Brox.
Clarence Brox, 156 East Campbell Lane. Excuse me, y'all. I got a host from at the Pelican basketball game Sunday night. Never got my voice yet, but I don't know, Mr. Tillerson. Did you say that y'all gonna give the people who sold their property before they became an industrial area some extra money? Is that what you said?
Well, we're in the process of rezoning. And so what that will include is reappraising at the I-3 heavy industrial rate. So it is a different process. It is a different price structure. But that will include independent appraisals of each property. And that will be, obviously negotiated between the port and those particular landowners. And we still have the authority to do up to 20% on top of that appraised value.
I like that. That's a good thing to do. You didn't think, at least you thought about those other people that gave up in the first part of it. That's a good thing. That's not true?
Okay. Yeah, we're only talking everybody that's left.
Oh, just the one that left?
That's correct.
Oh, I thought he said he did.
No.
We take care of them also.
It's for who we're negotiating,
All
the
right.
properties that we're negotiating with now.
All right.
Moving forward.
All right. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Mr. Jursich.
You knew this was coming, didn't you? So, got a couple concerns. First of all, I want the representative from APM to come up to the mic.
So the APM, they could not make this meeting, but I did have a conversation with them today, and we are working on getting a meeting. What they've requested is to actually come to your office to sit down and meet with you within the next 2 weeks. Vim LaHaye, the CEO, is actually in Europe traveling, but they are aware of the requests. And they've asked me to see if we can meet with you personally.
Okay. We'll see how that works out. We'll see if it happens.
So you will get an email starting the coordination on that tonight. If you want to meet at the port office or if you want us to come down to your office.
Oh, come to my turf.
We will come to your turf, absolutely. So they are aware and they're ready to come.
Okay. So, I heard we lost a pretty good opportunity the last few days, right?
Can you?
Port Nickel, that purchase, $600 million CapEx, would have been great for infrastructure on the East Bank, but we lost that. So I hope in the future we have better communication so things don't get messed up. And I'm not blaming anyone in particular, because I think there's other things that were involved. But sometimes when we meddle a little too soon, we can mess things up. So, moving on from that. Last meeting on Thursday, we voted for you to sign this contract.
Mm-hmm.
And you signed it on Wednesday before the meeting. That's all you can say?
That is correct. I did sign it, and I've had some communication with the chairman and vice chairman today. What we approved was a resolution, and myself and Chairman Schultz, are going to have a follow-up discussion. But the Rio Grande Rail contract to review the 11-mile extension within the 11-mile extension project is all part of the budgeted $1.2 million that Infinity is managing, where not only will Infinity manage the review by the NOGC, but they will also review.
When you signed it.
So I signed it on the 25th, but it was less than $150,000.
On the
which was-
26th.
26th, right, on the 26th. And it's in the budget, so I did interpret that. I interpreted that as it was within my limit, less than $125,000. Plus, it's in the budget, it's in the $1.2 million. Now, myself and Chairman Schultz had a conversation about that today. He would like to ensure that we have some clarification on that moving forward. But, we finalized that agreement. I did sign it, and I even said in the last meeting that this is more of a formality because it's in the budget for that $1.2 million. And so I'm definitely open to discussing
I
that.
think it's our due diligence that the people want us to run this port, and we have to be very vigilant of what happens. And I'm going to tell you, to vote on this on Thursday, not knowing it was already signed on Wednesday, had I known that, I'd have voted against it because of what you did. I mean, how does that make each and every one of us look up here? We voting on something, but you already had it signed. Oh, I got nine votes. Don't worry about it. I heard that remark. It was told. So
Okay, I'm not sure where that remark came from, but I didn't
So-
make that remark. But what I'd like to point out was that document was provided to the port, to me, in hard copy in early January.
it doesn't matter. We
And
voted
so
on
we-
it
we-
on Thursday, and you signed it the day before. I feel like, Ronnie, what's your word, duped? We've been duped. And you continue to do that. And I'm getting fed up with it. I really am. I mean, you fired Miss McKnight on the drop of a hat. Poor lady never saw it coming.
I can't have that conversation
Okay,
in an open
well-
meeting.
Okay. Phones on Monday. Heard y'all didn't have any phone service on Monday.
That is correct.
And why?
We had a switch over from fiber to from the landline to fiber, and there was a mix-up within the phone company, and Ms. Glapion, I'm going to let you jump in, but there was a rumor that we didn't pay the bill, but we did pay the bill, and when we had a follow-up conversation with AT&T, they had to run an investigation. Ms. Glapion, can I have you to?
Yes, when I found out that the phones were not on, my staff immediately started working on that. On the last bill that we had received, there was a late amount, and what I've instructed my staff to do is whenever there's a past due amount on the bill, to investigate to see if we have in fact already cut a check for that amount. On that bill, that check was cut in February. It was cashed February 20th. There is the recording on the back of the check where AT&T cashed it. They misapplied it to another account. They are currently under investigation for that. But like I said, that's something that I've instituted new policies within the department. So we are not going to have past due bills going forward.
Okay.
So again, I mean, yes, it did occur. We took quick corrective action, and we're putting measures in place to ensure that we don't have reoccurrences of that.
One other thing. I know when you took Miss Nielsen back, that she was supposed to be there for roughly, 3 months? How many months has it been now?
It's been right at 3 months.
Right at 3 months. Is that correct, Chairman?
I think that was the November 24 meeting that we voted to forego the 24th, November 24.
And what's
So
the date today?
So she didn't really work much in December, didn't work in December, if I remember correctly. So she really started in January with the new staff.
Is she still needed?
I would like to keep Ms. Nielsen around for maybe another 30 days to continue some transition details.
Supposed to be 3 months. That's what we agreed to?
Well, I mean, I request to keep Ms. Nielsen around through the Glow Resources contract for another 30 days. Just to make sure that, with the new legal secretary, with the new chief administrative officer, there's a lot of details, nuances that we deal with on a daily basis that she's been instrumental in helping us. And I'd also like to point out that she's not in the port office every day. So it's not like she's there 5 days a week. We've had a couple of weeks where maybe she's there three days. We've had weeks where she hasn't been in at all. So if you were to calculate the days, and I'd be happy to send you that
It was
information.
3 months. So if it's 3 months by days,
Right.
that wasn't determined when we did this.
Okay.
It wasn't 3 months by day, it was 3 months.
Right.
Now, if you
Right.
want to say 3 months worth of days, which would be 90 days, okay.
So
You didn't do like that. Hold up.
I'm giving you the ordinance. It clearly says 3 months. And this was introduced in October 24, so we voted in November of 2024. So, and clearly says 3 months.
Okay.
So if we're going to do something, we got to do an ordinance to clarify that. This is, I agree with Mitch. This is a problem.
It's one of many,
Go ahead.
one of many. So I'm going to tell you, things like this don't settle well with me. I'm a businessman, but I'm not going to, we represent the people. We represent the people, and we're here for them. And if you continue to do actions like this, what we going to have to do with you? How are we going to correct this? We don't even know what goes on in your office half the time. Heard it's total chaos still. I yield.
Mr. Kognovich, no doubt about it.
Yes, Mr. Henry, I agree with you. The people spoke. I got a call Thursday asking me, somebody from that group, I'm not going to mention it, but asked me if I read the Gazette. I said, nope, I don't read that rag. Asking me why the port subsidizes a ferry, why don't we subsidize the bridge? Well, what the Gazette don't understand, the port doesn't subsidize a ferry. We own a ferry. We paying for our own equipment. So, like I told him, if y'all want somebody to subsidize the bridge, why don't Pa be in the Gazette, who spoke up for the bridge toll, go ahead and pay it for the people. Why should the port? I'm tired of, I've been tired of that group, because they think they run the whole show. Well, I could name one they don't control. This one right here. And you'll never see me vote for anything for them. Thank you.
Reverend Edwards.
I'm being blindsided by some of the stuff happening here. One of the things is that stuff about phone, and first of all, I don't have any discussion on Ms. McKnight because that's an employment issue.
We can't talk about Mr. McKnight
Well, no,
in public. If we want to talk about it, we'll have to do it in executive
but
session.
that's what I'm saying. But
That's what I'm saying. We stopped him when he mentioned her name.
So I want to be clear, and getting on the phone issue, I don't understand those things as it relates to Christie. And I think shows you as chairman, were you aware her thing was being expired at the time was up?
I thought she was done. I found out this week that she was still coming around, and I knew Mitchell was going to ask about it, so I was kind
Well,
of.
the only reason I'm saying it
So-
was the fact that you're chairman of the port. I would think that, you could have talked to Charles Abe and you need to handle.
Correct. I found out about that this week,
Okay,
on
okay.
Tuesday of this week.
Well, and I heard Mr. Conaby talking about all the stuff happening there. Well, I'm in touch with the community too. And when I'm here in the community, now that the thing failed, you're the next target. So the thing is to get rid of you as a director. So I know that's a move being made, you being targeted. I just hope we be very careful, the obstacle that we're showing here today, right coming behind something that was failed. So there's a lot of stuff in the community about people trying to bring Sanders back. There's so much stuff happening there. So, and I know this, the public is not going to be fooled by what's really happening. So I just think that, I don't know where a lot of this stuff is coming from, but I dealt with you straight up on it. And I'm at the position, I think what you're doing is really good. I'm not getting into whether you paid the phone bill, all those things. I'm not even touching that. I just think that you're bringing the Port in the right direction. And I was thinking today that Poppy, nobody can get me to change my mind. You know, I'm with you 100%. You know, and I'm not going to let Poppy, now that they fail to use you as a target, now since they fail, then you'll be the next thing. So if they can get somebody else in, then they'll have control. That's what I see happening. I yield.
Thank you.
So yes, I want to clear up some stuff about the Rio Grande contract. I got wind that you signed it on the Wednesday. I went through the budget. Yes, it is part of the 11-mile extension. However, that is not the intended interpretation of that ordinance that we passed. I asked you about it on Monday privately, or with just commissioners present. You insisted that it was on Friday that you signed it, and then all of a sudden, a day or 2 days later, now it's, oh no, I did sign on Wednesday. And we've had talk today about that is not be that 11-mile extension has a whole bunch of other parts to it. That authorization that we gave you was for line item appropriations, not, yes, it's part of, it was already in the budget, but it's part of the budget of multiple things, parts of that project. So going forward, we're going to talk offline, but going forward, let's be clear that it has to be, if it was a budget line item saying, Rio Grande Rail or whatever, that would have been fine. But being that it was mixed in with the budget, we have to do better. I just wanted to clear that up, and that we did talk about Monday, and then again today, I think, or yesterday. Today. Yeah, today at lunch, yeah. When you called me at lunch, or I actually called Mr. Champagne and he handed me the phone. So we'll work out those issues, but going forward, my other issue, and I know you explained it to me, is if you thought it was in your authority, then why did we vote on it? Because again, I agree with Mr. Jurcic, is it makes us look like we don't know what's going on.
Right.
So,
I definitely, and I apologize to the Port Commission if I make anyone look like that we voted on something that I signed in advance. We did have that as a resolution, right? So it was not an ordinance. So it was my interpretation, and obviously, you know, maybe the communication could have been better. If it was a budgeted item, it would have been an ordinance, right?
but everything in the past, when we had to give you permission, was always resolutions, because it was part of budgets, but it was over your threshold. So it's always been resolutions when we had to grant you authority, even if it wasn't a budget.
Right.
This is your interpretation of that. So we got to be clear going forward what that actually means, because if not, I'll put it back down.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to clarify that when we introduced it in January, we introduced it. It took us until the end of March to get it finished. Well, when we introduced it and my threshold was $50,000.
Yep.
In February, it was increased to $125,000. So my misinterpretation, I thought because it was in the budget and it was under the $125,000 threshold that I could sign it. So I'm very open to sitting down and refining that process. And I can tell you right now, there's a few other items that we'll have coming up where we got to go through that same process under that same 11-mile extension agreement.
Okay, we'll talk Monday.
Okay,
about that.
thank you.
Ms. McCarty.
Please pull up the logos.
Wait, hold on, you're not. Okay, go.
Okay, please pull up the logos on that slide.
Not in the machine.
It's not in there. Okay, so the commissioners have this. It's a 300 DPI resolution of the logo. Did we ever get a vector logo from them, by the way? We did? Okay, because it's not in the deliverables. Thank you for sending over this contract so fast. I asked for it today, and I got it at 1:37 p.m. That's great. So at the bottom, it says key deliverables. Number 4, we will identify problems and opportunities for you. and your team. I think that the trademark is a key thing that we should have asked for from a company doing marketing for us. And so now I can't go into comments from one side or the other, but there is some discrepancy there. I'm sure that'll come up at a future point.
Can I make a request, Commissioner McCarty?
What?
I would love to schedule a sit-down meeting with you to discuss it in detail, and we can do it tomorrow morning.
Well, you see, the problem is we're always scapegoating issues. And the other day I asked you if you've ever made a mistake. Do you remember what your response was to me?
I do not. You can remind me in public here.
All right,
Okay.
hold on. We're not going to get into, you can talk about it, but we're not getting into, if we're going to start calling up everything, we need to do that in executive session. But we're not going to go public and basically start bashing. But you can talk about it, but I just want to be clear that we got to stay on agenda what was talked about.
Okay. So I'll go back. I'll skip that remark. Last meeting, I verbally asked for the RGB and CMYK color codes. I got nods saying that I would receive it, right? At the meeting. I'm sure we're on camera.
Who are you talking about?
Ms. McNair. I also asked if we had trademarked the logo, and I also got nods saying yes. And I'm sure that's on camera as well.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment? I outlined this in an email to all of the commissioners today. I think I was very clear that I made a comment that I thought was accurate at the last meeting, and I learned that it was not accurate, right? So I clearly understand where you're going, and look, I'm willing to sit down. I mean, we can sit down tomorrow morning and we can go through the details, and whatever you want to take a look at, we can have you take a look at.
Well, at the last meeting, you tried to avoid answering the question as well. And I had asked in writing for a 300 DPI of the logo. And I was told in writing back, it's not common practice to release design files. You know how I got the logo? From your letterheads. I was hoping this would be on screen. Your logos are on letterhead. How difficult is it to make a 300 DPI from a letterhead? I have Photoshop, and so does everybody else who wants to use this. Okay. Then, also, what we would have had was comparison of the New Orleans Port logo, which has the same color scheme that we have, although this here shows it in black and white, but it is already trademarked. It is green and blue. And then the Louisiana Gateway Terminal, and then we are the Louisiana Gateway Port. The whole purpose of getting a new logo was so that we could be identified as to our location and where we are and something different. But right now, we look like we copied two other logos as a combination, and I'll yield at that.
All right. Mr. Champagne, wait, hold on. It's being slow, the system. All right, Mr. Champagne.
First of all, I'd like to remind my colleagues that this is a port meeting, not a port inquisition. And if you feel compelled to sit here and publicly embarrass people, you're acting in an unprofessional manner. We have a venue in place to do that. We have a way that we can do this. We don't publicly impale our staff. We don't do that. That's not how we should behave as professionals. I recommend that you have some discussion needs to be had. We have an opportunity to do it every Monday, or to have personal meetings, not to sit here and self-destruct on camera. So be aware of your surroundings. Number two, I stand with my colleague here, Reverend Edwards. I think the port's doing a fine job. Is it perfect? Heck no. Are we making mistakes? Yes, but I truly think none of them are on purpose. So if anybody here thinks that they're perfect, I'd like to stand up, please. I know I'm not. I make mistakes. So I think these folks, these fine staff members who are trying to work hard on this part, are entitled to make some mistakes, and we do need to hold them to it. But these are meetings we should be having at our meetings that we do on Mondays. Or I ask, how many of you guys actually had one-on-one meetings with him, or I recommended you always go with someone else, you have a witness. But we don't need to be doing that here. There's business that we need to be conducting. We've wasted now 40-something minutes talking about stuff. Well, we really have the people's business. If people want us to run this port, let's run it. Let's not sit here and self-destruct. Let's do the people's business. We want to self-destruct, we can do it behind closed doors, and then let the people know what their end state is. I yield.
I feel like,
Ms. McCarty.
thank
Go
you.
ahead.
I'm tired of getting statements that are excused as misinformation. It feels slippery, like baby oil. You know, the things change real easily. After you come back and say, well, did you do this? No, it wasn't that. And I can go back on many different issues. And so that's why I'm concerned here. When I was in Washington, D.C., I was told what I could and could not do in a car.
Well, hold on.
Okay, I know I went to the wrong direction, but I'm just saying, this is the governing body, and you are employees of us.
Well, okay.
You.
We gotta stay on agenda. I told you before that some of the stuff that we could not talk about in public due to, different rules. Dr. Gooey.
Can we please stop and be professionals up here? And if you got a problem with the executive director, pick up the damn phone and call him and say, Charles,
Mr. Gooey has the floor.
Charles, there's something I'm concerned with. Could you answer it for me? And not come into a public forum and embarrass this port. This is embarrassing us. And I happen to be part of this, and I'm embarrassed for the way this is taking place. So, Mr. Chair, I request that we stop and go on to our next item on the agenda.
Seeing that nobody else is in the queue, we will. Let the record reflect Mr. Jursich had to leave for the town hall for recreation down in Port Sulphur, so he is no longer present. Next item.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. 5, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
We have 4 under Commissioner Schultz. An ordinance to amend the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District 2025 manpower structure to unfund the vacant HR supervisor position and to create and fund 1 full-time human resource analyst position and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District 2025 manpower structure operating expenditure budget to unfund the secretary position in the Ferries Division and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution approving and authorizing Chris Schultz, Port's chairman, and Charles D. Tillotson, Port executive director, to execute a Louisiana compliance questionnaire to Camnetta and Company, CPAs, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the final one is an ordinance authorizing Charles D. Tillotson, executive director, to initiate a Navy business case analysis and amend the 2025 year capital improvement budget to appropriate funding for the project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, 6B as in Bravo, 6C.
What are we doing with B?
I'm going to tell you in a second. We're deferring the following. 6B as in Bravo, 6C as in Charlie, F and G are all being deferred.
Oh, D as well.
That's
Are we
being
going to defer
withdrawn.
that or withdraw that? Okay, withdraw that, okay.
B, C, F, and G are all deferred. D as in Delta is withdrawn. Everybody understand? Any questions? Seeing none. Next item, please.
E, a resolution authorizing the port director to petition and file an application for a map change pursuant to and in conformity with the comprehensive zoning ordinance to rezone those certain properties located in Point Celeste Farm subdivision, phases 1 and 2, identified as follows: lots 2A, 35, 36, 49, 57B, 58B, 60B, which are now owned by or to be acquired by Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District from floodplain district to heavy industrial district, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
I offer. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. Any comments from the audience? Mr. Clark.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A, Bell Chase. Mr. Charles, I apologize for the people for treating you this way at this meeting. You guys are right. This is totally unprofessional, and it's
Clark, we're not-
obviously, I know it's off gender, but somebody has to apologize to this man. He's sitting here trying to do his best.
Clark.
Well, that's right.
Out of order, both of y'all. You could have came up at that.
No,
No.
I couldn't come up.
Out of order, both of y'all. Mr. Clark, if you're going to talk about this rezoning, please talk about it. If not,
Well, I said what I had to say, so again, I apologize for that.
any other comments from the audience? Table. Administration. Table. Machines are open. Ms. Thank you. Passes 7-1 with a no vote from Mr. LaFrance, and Mr. Jurcic is absent. Next item, please.
H, an ordinance authorizing the executive director of the port, Charles Tillotson, to amend the contract with Mercury Public Affairs lobbyists established through Ordinance 2333 to include state and local representation necessary to protect its interest in all matters, and to amend the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District's 2025 operating expenditure budget, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. Any comments from the audience? Mr. Henry.
Yes. Oh, we have the name of these lobbyists?
Mercury. Mercury Public Affairs. It's the same one that we've been doing. We're just adding, they're doing some more work for us, so.
The new contract year.
Oh, man. Hey, look up. Man, that's one thing I think we all need to go work on. These lobbyists, man, we paying these guys this kind of money. I don't see what we getting no benefit out of it. Now, when somebody show me some benefit, I'll congratulate them. But I haven't seen any yet.
Mr. Henry.
Look, every year they go to the legislature.
No, I don't.
I don't see nothing coming out there for us.
Mr. Henry, Mr. Vitter was instrumental to getting a lot of the grants we received, federal grants we received over the last 2-3 years, in excess of $50 million at least?
Not to include the $785 million for the NOV project. He was
Correct.
part of that as well.
So you might not see it directly on a given day, but over time, the grants that he sets up meetings with for us to go meet in DC. I went myself a couple weeks ago, and he's instrumental in that, or the lobbyist in general is instrumental.
Well, after Mr. Vitter, I know through the state legislature for the last 4 years I've been standing up here, and we just let the state just took over the whole ports of Louisiana, but we had lobbyists to try to fight it. I never seen them really, none of them doing the hard work to try to stop it.
Mr. Brox.
Clarence Brox, 156 Enos Campbell Land. Just for information, I remember the council said when we get these plants and all these stuff, or the port and all that kind of stuff, when they start running, a lot of a certain percentage of the taxes going to the state, and that's one of the reasons why they give us these grants and stuff, because they're going to get something back. Don't they get a certain percentage of?
Well, they get the sales tax.
The sales tax and the state tax.
Sales tax goes to the state, but I think you're talking about the TIF, possibly? Are you talking about the ITEP?
I remember y'all saying, at the council saying that the state does get their portion of the money.
Correct.
A certain portion go to the sheriff department, certain portion go to the school board, and
That's millages that they do, and the state doesn't get anything through millages, but the state does get 4.5% sales tax.
Sales tax.
Yeah, so.
Right. So they're not really giving us money. They're going to get their money back in the long run.
Well, that's, what I was mentioning was federal grants, not state
Oh,
grants.
federal grants?
Yeah.
So they get more than the state get.
Well, federal doesn't get anything from, I mean, they don't get sales tax or,
They get federal tax, right?
well, yeah, or federal income tax, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's-
the grants
that's a
are
different
instrumental, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman. I mean, from the state, we do have an $18 million grant for the water booster station. You know, that, I mean, that project is paying for that alliance to Port Sulphur Water Booster Station. That's part from the state, from the Port Priority Fund.
The only thing I want to know, how they get their money back? All those,
Wait, hold on.
we've,
I'm trying to
understand?
tie how this is dealing with the lobbyists.
The lobbyists?
Yes, that's what we're.
Yeah, but he's the one that goes to the state and get the money from the state and bring us all. He's the one that trying to promote us, sell us to the federal government, and they give us these grants. That's what he fighting for grants for us, and also to put us. You know, he trying to let the federal government know that we need to be supported by the right. So, and they agree with him, and he bring the information back to us. And he bring the information from us to them, and they give us money. And how they get their money back? That's all I wanted to know.
How does who get their money back?
The federal government, or the state, any one of them.
Our tax.
It's true taxes.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, that's just how every grant works.
Yeah, but without him, without this guy, we will have to do this all on our own. So he's there, and as a representative.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm still confused.
Okay, we'll talk
and I know
offline.
y'all confused too.
We'll talk offline.
All right.
Any other public comment on this item? Administration. Mr. Konkovich. Oh my.
Yep, I'm gonna give you this one, but when you and the president both, like I said the last meeting, y'all came wanting to hire the man, I gave him one thing I was pushing for. And I know the president fired him on their side, but if we get the national park, that would make it help the port out if we could get those cruise ships to start stopping there. And he didn't want to work on it. So I'll give it to you this time, but next time if he don't do something we ask, he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, Commissioner Konkovich, your point is very well taken, and it just so happened when that occurred, when he was, cut from the parish, the timing was just really bad. So, but he and I, we've had conversations about it, and what I'd like to do is maybe we can schedule a call between me, you, and Senator Vitter. I'd like to get it done tomorrow, so that, we can bring some clarity around this so that we don't let you down in the future.
All right, thank you. I ain't going to no more of them.
Stay on topic, please. You done, Miss LaFrance? Or you done, Mr. Kongovich?
Yes, sir.
Miss LaFrance.
Well, I'm going to tell you my experience with it. When I scheduled some meetings with some senators in Washington, D.C., and Dr. Gore, he came with me. And I could tell you, he had everything, all our meetings lined up, everything was done. And even when I was talking to senators, when we was talking about the elevations for the home, the height of our levees, why we paying so much for insurance, coastal restoration, the dumping of shrimp, saltwater intrusion. And I tell you, when the conversation got stale, Mr. Vitter picked up the ball and he ran with it. I will say Mr. Konkovich said he was the biggest criticism. I was a big critic of him too. But after that trip in Washington D.C., he's definitely worth it. He's definitely worth it. Yes, he impressed me. And I yield.
Reverend Edwards.
You know, there's not too many people impress me, right? But I would have to, no, I really, other than my friend, Mr. Conover, definitely impressed. No, and I say this, and no, I say this because when I went to Washington, I was so impressed about Mr. Vitter and his relationship there. It was really unbelievable. The thing that got to me, Mr. LaFrance, is that even in places like the cafeteria, the employees that work there, talking to him, and he could ask them about how did your grandson make with this. Everywhere we went, and Chris, you were there, and I mean the respect and the meeting that he was able to get up in. I was just saying that we got a lot, Mr. Hendry, for the buck. And again, and I would say with President Chairman Cho said he brought a lot of dollars. I just don't think we exposed that to people. So Mr. Hendry get up there, he can say that because how you know if we don't tell him. So I just think that we need to be able to put that out. But I would say that I was really impressed with Mr. Vitter and the kind of work that he's been doing, you know, for us. And I have a little pet peeve too, Mr. Connie, he haven't dealt with yet. But you know, I'll get around it. But I just think we can have a better person. And I had a lot of negative about him, and I didn't share it. I just kept it, and I had a wait and see attitude. And he really surprised me by being in his company and watching him work. Because especially if you're looking to people from a critical eye, you're looking for, you know, I'm gonna see what he's about now. And he really showed me that we got a good deal with Mr. Vitter. I yield.
Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Mr. Jurcic absent. Next item.
No items under 7, new business. 8, approval of the minutes from the March 27th, 2025.
Second.
Offered by Mr. Newsom, second by Ms. LaFrance. Any comments from the public? Administration. Table. Machines are open. Hold on, we gotta get the record.
Mr. Edwards.
Mr. Edwards, we're on minutes. Passes 8-0. Motion by Mr. Cognovich. Should I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Machines are open. Passes 7-1 with Mr. Edwards voting no. Meeting is adjourned at 6:04.